What we got to do? First place, our defense has got to go out there and take the ball. Then when we get the ball, we got to have 11 people that's going to do their job and try to score every time you get the football. If we do that, we'll be all right. That will be all right.
Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to another post-Iron Bowl edition of Football University with me, Caddell, on the CTS-Sports room page. And yes, this is where we do everything. Talk about anything, everything football. You know, we had a crazy Iron Bowl. We're going to get into it. It's SEC Championship week. We're going to preview that game, recap the Auburn game. But talk about the NFL, talk about Georgia, talk about Kirby Saban. We're just going to get into it, and shouts out to the best fans in the game, the student section, all the fans, the students, because I try to be your de facto professor. Listen, get in the student section, which we call the comment section, and play your role, Tides. We might have a few Georgia fans trying to slide in here, but at the end of the day, it's all about the Crimson Tide. Again, I'm Caddell, Football University, and let's get it started. But before we get started, I have got to give y'all the highlight for, if y'all miss fans of the CTS-Sports room, if y'all been wondering, where has the Horsemen been? Where has the Horsemen been? Listen, they are on Bam Damn Sports YouTube page. If you missed those old shows, please tune in to those Bam Damn YouTube page. You will find the Horsemen acting crazier than ever. Listen, I got to shout them out. They are rocking and rolling on their YouTube page. So tell them, hit that like, subscribe button for them, and tell them the Football University sent you over there to them. Shouts out to them, to the Horsemen over there at Bam Damn Sports. So let's get it started. Let's start the student section. Roll Tide to everybody. RTR, yes, we are feeling good. I think we had an amazing weekend. I think my hair grew on my head another 2 inches watching the Iron Bowl. And listen, we talked about it last week. I know everybody was saying, oh, Auburn lost to New Mexico State. And I said, listen, Hugh Freeze is going to have his guys ready to rock and roll. They're going to be physical. They're going to come prepared to play. So it's what happens. So let's get in the student section real quick. Let's talk to Mr. Jones. That Auburn game was another typical nail biter from Jordan here. Hopefully it'll make us better prepared for Georgia. I think it typically does. Having to go on a challenging road game in the Iron Bowl. Let's talk about the Iron Bowl. And my first topic, can we put to bed that there is no greater football rivalry than the Iron Bowl? Like, let's be honest. Like, they were hyping up the game earlier in the day, and you're talking about boring. I didn't even watch it. I think I was watching Jack the Giant Slayer or some cooking show, whatever. But that's neither here nor there. But, man, listen, the Iron Bowl consistently gives you high drama, high climax. Each year, it is the most intense rivalry. So to me, it is the greatest rivalry, period. That is my first topic. We're going to talk about that. But to answer your question, Mr. Jones, always whenever you have to go to Jordan Hare, it's tricky. I don't know if they got some type of voodoo, burial gown Jordan Hare's buried on, but when it comes to the Iron Bowl, the energy is on another level. It's just you have to overcome so much adversity throughout for 60 minutes. And luckily for Alabama, Alabama kept their poise and willed themselves to win. So we're gonna break it down a little bit more. But to your point, Mr. Jones, I do think winning in Jordan Hare is always the victory is so much sweeter in my opinion. Having to go on the road, tough environment, Jordan Hare voodoo, whatever you want to say, kick six, whatever. Whenever we win that game, going into the SEC championship, I feel like that helps us, kind of propels us even a lot more because we got a lot to work on. So we're going to discuss it here right there. So let's stay in the student section. Shout out to Stephen Hicks, RTR. Roll Tide and Rise Up. Shouts out to the Falcons over there. Had a big win versus the Saints over there over here in ATL. So RTR to Roll Tide and Rise Up. Listen, James Knox, Roll Tide, RTR fam. Let's see. Lori Caddell says RTR and Rise Up. Falcons fan. We're gonna discuss the Falcons because we gotta discuss Bryce Young, but we're gonna talk about that later in the show. So yes, let's see. Listen, it's I love this comment. Talking about let's recap the Iron Bowl. Listen, I said it's gonna be like Rosada Rizzo said, man, I think one of your former players left a sock or a chin strap in Auburn and took it and buried it in that stadium. Listen, it gets I told you last week, Auburn, regardless of the New Mexico State, they're going to be ready, prepared. I actually think Auburn was preparing 2 weeks in advance for Alabama. Obviously, you can tell they weren't actually prepared for New Mexico State. They were just kind of walking through. I think Hugh Freeze had been preparing for Alabama for 2 straight weeks. But like I said, it's the Iron Bowl. You're in Jordan Hare. It's always such a tough environment, and the game goes back and forth. And we're going to talk about, listen, the SEC, listen, we're expanding. We got to do better officiating. We got to have better officiating crews for these big matchups. I feel like we could have had another better officiating crew. This head officiating crew was the same officiating crew when Alabama lost to Tennessee last year. So Alabama had to overcome Auburn, voodoo, whatever you want to say. Alabama had to overcome the refs, had to overcome Jordan Hare, all the adversity that came. But the most important, Alabama Alabama had to overcome their self-inflicted wounds. That's the first thing that stood out for me in the Iron Bowl. I think we had 4 touchdowns called back. I mean, Kendrick Law touchdown. If we score right there, I think that changes the trajectory of the game. I think we take the wheel, out of Auburn with that Kendrick Law touchdown. Great play call, get up on their tush push, whatever you want to say. But that was a touchdown call back. We had another couple touchdowns called back. So we kept shooting ourselves in the foot, and these are things we got to get ironed out. No, it's the SEC championship week. It's Georgia week. We know the challenges Georgia presents for us. So we got to come ready, rocking and rolling. But we got to first stop hurting ourselves and eliminate the mental errors and eliminate the penalties. That's what we got to do. So great game, going back and forth. I was watching the first half. Finally got to watch the second half, the fourth quarter, and listen, just like all Alabama fans, we were just like on tails, especially that last drive. Auburn muffed the punt. Thank God we pick it up. I thought scoop and score. So you're already on pins and needles. We get the ball like at the 25, and then we have a botch snap. Miro steps over past the line. We're going to discuss Miro. Then they get another penalty. So we're backed up 4th and 31. And what do? Milrow throws a dagger to Isaiah Bond. So listen, it was probably one of the greatest plays. I was just thanking the Lord and just having church right then and there when he caught that touchdown pass. And so, so glad to see Milrow's poise. The whole offense, the whole team, that's how they prepare. That's how Coach Saban handles them. So we're going to get more into that 4th and 31 play. Let's get to the student section. Jeff Saban says Eagles got lucky against the Bills. I mean, I got on the Kelly Green, so I don't know if it was luck. I think more so the Bills, they just can't handle overtime, and they changed. So funny thing about, I know I'm going everywhere, but this is what we do at Football University. We talk anything and everything football. Buffalo Bills had the game. They had the control of the game, but they could not. The kicker, Tyler Bassett, missed a couple field goals, which I think would have put the game kind of away. They would probably would have won by at least 3 points. But the whole overtime, NFL changed the overtime rules just for the Buffalo Bills, because you remember a couple years back, them and the Kansas City Chiefs had that epic playoff battle in Arrowhead Stadium, and they changed the rules, and now the Bills, I think, are 0-5 against the Bills. So I don't want to say luck. Like I said, listen, Jalen Hurts, if you're Jalen and you play quarterback and you're from Alabama, you had a great weekend last week going from Jalen Milrow, Jalen Hurts. It's like they kind of inspired. Jalen had a 3rd and 15 bomb similar to Jalen Milrow's 4th and 31. But credits to the Eagles. They got the game. They got the dub. Fly, Eagles, fly. Well, listen, a lot of Falcons fans in here talking about the Aints. So, so let's say we won that game 33-24 and lost 2 other TDs by stupid penalties. Like I said, Alabama's got to stop hurting themselves, eliminating the bad penalties and negative plays. And I think, when you win, you always want to get a win, but going into such a vaunted championship game, probably playing the best team in the country in Georgia, we have a lot to, it's great. We won the game, but now we got to get focused, got to get locked in for Georgia, because Georgia is the top team in the country. And we just got to be locked in on this game, 4 quarters of this game. So shout out to Georgia fans in here. Says, y'all wanted the smoke, you got it. Go Dogs. Listen, speaking of Georgia, it's that week. Yeah, it's that week. It is that week. If you've been a fan of Football University, we have been talking about I think my first show beginning to kick off the season, the SEC Media Days, I said, all I want is for Alabama to play Georgia in the SEC Championship. That's all I want. And God answered our prayers. We finally got Georgia and Alabama in the SEC Championship. So, like I said, Alabama's got to do a lot to get ready for Georgia. Things we got to improve on. We got to stop the run. We got to be able to stop the run. Auburn was just gashing us on a lot of long runs here and there. They used a couple, kind of confuses us with number 6. You look at Kirby, Mike Bobo, what they like to do offensively with Brock Bowers, Lab McConkey, Carson Beck. The 3, those guys, we got to be able to stop those. Mainly those 3 guys, Beck, Bowers, and McConkey. Now, I know McConkey's kind of injured. I know he didn't play last week versus Georgia Tech. And I think Brock Bowers did not play. But I think they get Kamari Lassiter back to help the secondary. You can say what it is, but you say they're banged up. But listen, I think they're going to be ready to go on Saturday for the SEC Championship. So Alabama's, listen, we got to be able to come ready, be able to handle, stop Bowers, Beck, and McConkey. I think that's kind of where their offense rides. So we're going to kind of pause right here. We're going to stay in the student section. So let's go. Jeff Stapleton says, Auburn didn't prepare for that 4th and 31. Stephen Hicks, listen, a lot of talk going on. We want all the smoke, and Bama will prevail. Listen, we're going to get into the depths of this Alabama-Georgia game. Listen, I talked about it, how we, kind of wanted this game. It's been 2 years since we've been watching Georgia handle their business, and, they won 2 national championships, 2 SEC titles in the meantime. No, yeah, 1 SEC title, I believe. And 2 national championships. So, listen, it's gonna be going on. So, listen, Lou Sean, shouts out to my brother Lou Sean, Roll Tide. Stephen Hicks, I love it, man. Bama fans, listen, you watch the reactions of Alabama versus 4th and 31. This is my another point, talking about the biggest rivalry in college football. You look at Twitter, social media, anything, everybody was talking about the Iron Bowl, especially that 4th and 31. Listen, nobody was talking about the game, Michigan and Ohio State, but everybody's talking about the Iron Bowl. I'm talking about NFL, Rappaport, Schefter, so many guys I follow on Twitter, they were talking about the Iron Bowl. Even Booger McFarland, I mean, he's Booger McFarland, Danny, everybody, the whole sports world was tuned into the Iron Bowl. To me, that's what separates the Iron Bowl from the Ohio State-Michigan game. You can't get that type of all eyes turned into one game. It's the most heated rivalry in my opinion, because it's in state, but it just presents a lot of challenges. But when Middle Road made that play, I mean, seeing the Alabama's reactions, the jubilation, I mean, it was just so excited. So I'm glad the team pulled it out. But like I said, we got a lot to iron out moving forward going against Georgia. So we got to kind of flip the page, get ready for this tough Georgia Bulldog team. Be careful what you miss for, because it's our stadium. They do call Mercedes-Benz Stadium or the old Georgia Dome, Alabama East. No, yeah, Alabama East, I believe. That's what they call it. Yeah, because Alabama's West, so that's Alabama East. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, but Alabama fans, just pure jubilation in the Iron Bowl. So let's see. Listen, Jordan, you said nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Y'all have to see. Be careful what you ask for. Listen, I don't think Alabama's running from anything, and I'm quite sure Georgia's not running from anything. I mean, these two guys know each other. 2 head coaches familiar with each other. I'm just glad Alabama finally gets the opportunity to play Georgia. I think they were looking to play for them last year. I think if it was one team that Georgia did not want to have to play, it was Alabama. I mean, I just feel like from the reaction that I've just seen more Georgia fans, watching the Iron Bowl, commenting about the Iron Bowl, commenting about Alabama. It's just how it is. I guess this is what it is. The Georgia's been riding high. We've been waiting on it for 2 years, so we finally get this moment. So speaking about Georgia, let's talk about it. Remember the championship game last year, where Coach Saban was on the platform next to David Pollock, halftime. Georgia's beating the living daylights out of TCU, and David Pollock said, listen, you got to admit this is the best program in America, and Coach Saban had to take that and, acknowledge it as much as he didn't want to, but he did. He gave Georgia and them their props. So I think with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm Saban, I'm having that on repeat all week. Alabama's the underdog. Alabama's a 5-point underdog. Nobody's going to be picking Alabama. Everybody's going to be pulling for Georgia. But like I said, I think we match up way better than what Georgia I think if any team Georgia would not want to have to play, it is Alabama. I'm just telling you, as one team they would not have to play. I think they were hoping, Alabama would lose in the Iron Bowl, pulling for Auburn. I'm just being honest, just what I'm hearing from Georgia fans. A lot of Georgia fans that I talked to, they're still talking about the Iron Bowl. And I was like, oh, y'all, I thought y'all played Georgia Tech. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So listen, like I said, Kirby, Saban, David Pollack, our time is now. Listen, we've been waiting 2 years. Alabama, it kind of reminded me of I don't know if y'all remember the Dark Knight Batman series, not the one with Joker, Heath Ledger, but another one with Bane. And you remember when Bane was going against Batman, and he was like, listen, I've been in the dark. I know how to fight in the dark. And he was just beating the crap out of Batman in that scene. And that kind of reminds me of how Alabama's been in the hole the past 2 years, not going to the SEC championship, not winning the national championship, having to watch Georgia, go do their thing. I think this game is going to be a lot personal for Alabama. I think Alabama is ready. They got their sights. They're going to be locked in. They're going to be loaded. And I told Alabama's got to have that MJ, Kobe, mindset. Job's not finished. MJ's, listen, I took that personal. I need Saban to have that on. Yeah, I took that personal from that whole David Pollack, like that whole MJ mindset. We got to be able to have that just dominant killer mentality versus these Georgia Bulldogs. Like I said, we got to eliminate the penalties. Don't hurt ourselves. Don't have middle areas. The time is now. So I want to say this. Let's talk about my next topic, Miro. I feel like Miro is, I think he was co-offensive player of the week. He had the big play, the big drive, although we had a lot of mistakes. He went back to his training, very humble guy. I mean, the guy just came in and executed at a high level in the most crucial time of the game. And one thing I'm excited to see is him getting that kind of relationship in the passing game with Bond and Burton. I'm glad to see them two kind of really, get that that camaraderie, that chemistry. I think it was kind of off maybe the past couple weeks because I believe Burton got hurt. I know he got sick. He didn't play a couple games. And then Bond, I know the UTC Chattanooga game, they kind of missed a couple throws. So listen, I'm glad to see them have that relationship. And listen, now it's time to put it all together. Like, I still think Alabama has not played their best game yet. We still got to put it together for 4 quarters. But we were able to win the game, and we got a lot to work on. I mentioned eliminating the Paladins, but I want to talk about Miro before I give him all his accolades. I think when he's playing these teams that, do QB spies and all this stuff, I think the most important thing, Miro, if you turn into this football university, listen, we got you. We must carry play fakes. I think it is important that Miro continues to carry the play fake with the zone read options. I say those little details go a long way. And I feel like when he did that, when he played LSU going against Jay Daniels, I mean, skies was the limit. It helped in the RPO game. It helped in the quarterback read option, running routes, running the ball. So I think it's important that Miro continue to improve carrying out his play fakes. That's going to be critical in this game because, Georgia, Greg Schumann, Kirby, they know how to defend teams. They're going to try to take away what you do best. So it's important that we kind of, make sure when Miro takes the play fake from shotgun, whatever, he carries the play fake. And like I said, especially when teams put on spy, I think we can do a lot of tempo. I think we can change up the tempo, kind of get the defense gassed, tired. Maybe they can substitute, keep them on their toes, keep the defense on their heels. And I think it's important that not only does Milroe win with his arms, but win with his legs, but win with his brain, his IQ, knowing when to make the best football play, knowing when to make the best football smart play, whether it's run, whether it's pass, whether it's a great read, whether it's setting up the defense secondary, hitting the check down, whatever, getting us in the right play. I think he needs to be able to win with his arms and his legs and IQ. And I think, latest I saw, if he puts all those things together, carrying the play fake, doing all those things, I think he will have it. And if he has a big game and Alabama wins, he will have the opportunity, I believe, to get at least an invite to New York. Me personally, I think Jay Daniels is the Heisman leader. He gets my vote. This guy's just unreal. I know everybody's gonna say Bo Nix, but for me, I'm not too high on guys that leave. I don't know why you would leave the SEC, and I know Auburn was a dumpster fire, but you go to Oregon, it's a lot more easier out there. Of course, the numbers are going to look great. You're not playing many defenses, but Jay Daniels left the Pac-12 to come to the SEC. To me, and what he's done in the SEC, he presents a lot of challenges. To me, he gets my Heisman vote. So I know they're going to try to put Bo Nix up there. I think they're going to try to put Michael Penix as an invite. I don't see anybody from the Big 12. J.J. McCarthy looked very mad. McCord, the Ohio State quarterback, really didn't do anything. So, listen, Miro had a big, kind of a big game, 200 yards passing, 100 yards rushing. Big time play in the Iron Bowl. If he can really put it together, versus Georgia, work on those little things and make it happen. I think he seriously gets an invite to New York and kind of fills out that fourth spot. I'm not gonna say he's gonna win it. Me personally, I think Jay Daniels is the best player in the country. But I think if Miro has a big game, he's gonna be on another big game on the stage, national spotlight, going against the number one team in the country. And if he does this thing, he will get an invite to New York. So, Miro, make those little things happen. Let's make it happen. Oh yeah. So let's get to the student section. I know I've been rumbling my mouth. Y'all are going crazy. In the student section. Let's see. The only running Milroe going to do is making touchdowns. I think he's going to have a big game. Yeah, I agree. Benjamin Stewart says, Georgia fan, Bama's weak, so happy that we're about to silence him. Listen, I mean, you can call Bama weak, whatever you want. That's your opinion. We here at Football University, we invite all fans. We love the chatter, but I love that everybody's down in Alabama. I love that everybody's saying Alabama can't do this. Alabama's got no quarterback. Even Danny Caddell saying, listen, Georgia's going to boat race Alabama, this and that. And I love when Alabama's the underdog. To me, it just makes – I feel like Saban's going to be in his bag. These guys are going to come ready to play. So, yeah, keep it coming. Like I said, keep all the motivation. We're going to use it as fuel fire here in Tuscaloosa when we come to ATL. So, yeah, keep down this. But weak, I don't know. I think Kirby Smart will say something else regarding Alabama being weak. Now, I will say this. Let me give you your shine, Benjamin Stewart. Miro's about to be running for his DLA. Those pack of wild dogs gonna be on him. I'll say that for after the show. I'm not gonna give all the sauce. It's just Georgia's got a really good team. They're the number one team in the country. But do I think their defense is as good as it was last year? No, I don't think it was as good as their defense the past couple of years. But like I said, Georgia's going to be coming ready prepared. I know Kirby. Kirby's was my coach at Alabama. He's going to have his guys ready to rock and roll. And so I just, like I said, I think Alabama's got to, come ready to play, come in, eliminate the penalties. Miro's got to be locked in, winning with the IQ, winning with the arms, legs, getting us in the right play. I think that's going to be huge for us. And I think the defense, we got to stop the run. Like I said, we got to be able to stop the run. We got to run the ball, and we got to be able to stop Beck, Bowers, and McConkey, I feel like. And so one thing I noticed that Auburn was able to do, the QB draw. And I'm going to get to this point that Lane, yeah, this is what we do. Like I said, we love all the naysayers. We love it. We eat it up because it keeps us so hungry. It keeps us so humble. It keeps us humility. We have a kind of hunger, humble, lots of humility going in. And as an Alabama fan, we love being the underdog. Like, there's been so many times when we always projected to win the game, be number one. And I always like it when we're always doubted and not focused. Everybody's doubting us to not win the game. So I love it. Link. It's all about Link, RTR, but let all naysayers know. So, yeah, keep the naysayers coming. We love everybody. Keep down this. But, yeah, to my point, I just think it's important that talking about the QB draw. Now, Auburn, Peyton Thorne, he's a little bit more mobile, I believe, more so than Carson Beck. But Carson Beck is a really good quarterback. He's put up quietly really, really good numbers in college football. I mean, he's putting up a lot of numbers. He might have the opportunity to go to the NFL. I don't know if he's going to come back, but yeah, he's a really good quarterback, especially in the system that they like to do. Mike Bobo, they like to do a lot of window shopping, show two plays and kind of in one, and kind of see how you play those. So I think it's important. Alabama has good eye discipline, and we kind of mix things up defensively. Not to say confused, but just kind of get them on their they're going to play. It's more of a chess match, in my opinion, to see, because I think it's more of a chess match between Steele and Bobo, more so than anything. It's going to be a chess match between Tommy Reese, Glenn Schumann. So, listen, Georgia, they're the number one team in the country. They're the top team in the country. Alabama's got to be able to. I just don't. If we get to Carson Beck, we got to get him on the ground. Period. Like, we got to get him on the ground. Period. We can't allow him to. We can't get pressure from Dallas Turner, Braswell, and we slipped by this guy. Luckily, we've been prepared going against, I believe Peyton Thorne, Jay Names, who I said is the Heisman leader. All those have kind of helped us. I believe is going to help us in this game, kind of have going against those and really playing a really, really tough Auburn opponent in the Iron Bowl. Is nothing like it. I'm just saying it's nothing like it. So I think we're going to be ready, locked and loaded for this game. Speaking of the SEC championship, previewing Auburn, Georgia, I think it's important that Alabama brings back SEC West pride. Lately, it's been the SEC East. We lost to Tennessee last year. It was the SEC East. We lost to Georgia in the national championship the year before that. Georgia's the back-to-back national champions. So I think in this game, I think Alabama's kind of got to. I think Alabama's went through a way tougher road to get here, and I think we need to prove that, show our physicality, and show that SEC West pride, bring the SEC West pride in this game, in my opinion, and let everybody know Alabama's back and the SEC West is back. So, like I said, I think Alabama got to have that type of mindset, that type of mentality going into this game. So let's get into the game. Let's get into the student section. Man, y'all are going in. Like I'm just gonna leave it at length because it's all about let all naysayers know. Like I just think it's all about Bama right now. This is what we do here at Football University. So like I said, Alabama's got to have that SEC West pride. We got to show that we played the tougher teams. We played. We've seen LSU's run the offense. We've seen Texas offense. We've seen had to go to road to Jordan Hare for the Iron Bowl, which is different than what even Kirby admitted. Going to Jordan Hare in the Iron Bowl is different than Auburn, Georgia, and Jordan Hare. Now it's a rivalry game, but it's even Auburn played Georgia tough. So I'm just telling you, Kirby's seen both sides. He knows what's it like to go in Jordan Hare on the Georgia side as well as Alabama side. So we've had to go on the road. We've had to play LSU. We had to go on the road in Texas A&M when they were rolling. Everybody doubted us then. Everybody said, Miro can't do this. So everybody's down there. Danny Caddell, Mr. Stewart, Georgia fans, everybody's doubting Alabama. So we just thank y'all for doubting us. We just love it. We're gonna keep the hungry, humble spirit and keep moving forward. So I want to talk about Alabama. I know Jason McClellan. I think he's kind of maybe dinged up. They're going to see how he is. I don't know if the media got to go to practice today. But I think things we can use to kind of offset that. Kendrick Law, I would love to see us kind of really get in the playbook and really use Kendrick Law kind of in that Debo Samuel type of role. Actually get him a run, not just jet sweeps or flats in the outfield. Let's get him in some pistol in the backfield, see what he does running the ball, like a Debo Samuel. I think that can help. And I think Rodell Williams is really running really well with, his cut, seeing the whole vision, one play down, one cut and go. Jam Miller, I think he's ready to be rocking and rolling. And I think we have not unleashed Justice Haynes. And I think Justice Haynes, coming from Georgia, I think he's looking forward to really making plays in this SEC championship, as well as Caleb Downs, Isaiah Bond, all these guys from Georgia, Jake Pope. I think they're looking to make plays. So I mentioned Kendrick Law. I think it's important that, too, we kind of flex our tight ends as well. I think, everybody's going to be talking about Brock Bowers, Delp, how power Georgia's offense, tight ends. I think could be a big game for Amari Black. I think he kind of owes it to us. He had to play the catch, that key third down catch versus Auburn, but instead of just running over the guy and, getting the first down, he was kind of dancing and pitter-patting and almost didn't make the first down. So, I think he's going to use that as motivation. He's going to hear the challenge, the chatter about how great Bowers and Delp and all these guys are. And, nobody's really talking about Alabama's tight end room. So I'm looking for him to really step it up. I said Kendrick Law, the running backs. I think Miro is going to be locked and loaded. I think the offensive line, I think the defense front seven, they're going to be locked and loaded. Like I said, it's all going to be about eye discipline. Watching Georgia, listen, they use Brock Bowers kind of like a Kelsey. How the Chiefs use Travis Kelsey. So we've got to be locked in and loaded. We got to be locked in and loaded going against this really good Georgia two-time national champion team. So we got to come ready to prepare all week. So I talked about offense. I talked about defense, things we need to work on. Now I need to talk about special teams because Special teams, like I said, we got to eliminate the penalties. We need Will Riker to be at his best. Luckily, he's not on the road. He's not in Bryant Denny. I think Will Riker needs to not thinking about being the scoring um, leader. He just needs to go out there and make field goals, put them through the uprights. Just think about if you're a golfer, just think about putting the ball in the hole. You know what I'm saying? Just like I think we need Will Riker to be at his peak versus Georgia in this SEC championship game. Now, I think another thing, I think we got to make sure we got a great feel of this turf because we know the turf in the Georgia Dome can get kind of tricky. So I think it's important we work on all different types of cuts going in, play moves going into the game, getting a good feel of the stadium, the turf, making sure we got the right cleats. We're playing on the balls of our feet. All those little things are going to matter. That's going to help us really be, execute at a high level in this game. So special teams, we got to be ready. I think Caleb Downs, like I said, I'm still confident in Kool-Aid. I think, obviously with them, they like to run a lot of double moves with Lab McConkey. They like to run a lot of in-breaking routes. You look at Brock Bowers, I mean, they do a lot. They kind of remind me of when the Patriots were rolling back in the day with Tom Brady and Wes Welker, Gronk and those guys. It kind of reminds me how their offense is if you kind of look at them from an offensive standpoint. A lot of in-breaking routes, a lot of double moves, little types of things to set you up. So we got to have great eye discipline. We got to just have great discipline all game going against Georgia's offense. So let's see. I talked about special teams. And one thing Alabama can't worry about, we cannot think about the committee. Like, let's get that out there head. Do not think about the college football committee because the college football committee, me personally, I don't know if they got some up their sleeves, but I think maybe they might be in panic mode. Maybe they might be starting to eat their own words because they're going to be in shambles because of the way they have put out these rankings. I think they're going to have to eat their words come Saturday afternoon, Sunday when they make those decisions. So Alabama's just got to come in, locked in, loaded. Don't think about the committee. Let's win the SEC. Alabama's the SEC champion, leader in the SEC. We finally made it back, and listen, let's go win the SEC championship. That's the only thing we can control. Let's focus on that. Let's winning another SEC title, and putting that being SEC conference champ. So let's just focus on that. So and just continue to stack wins. I said we got to have that Michael Jordan mentality. Even when we win, we got to say job's not finished. We got a lot to do. Job's not finished. We can't worry about the committee. We're just going to celebrate being SEC champs and go from there. We can't worry about none of that stuff. Just focus on this game. Be where your feet are. That's what Coach Saban always likes to say. So let's be where our folks. Let's have the mindset and let's be like MJ, be like Kobe, be dominant. And so, so let's talk. Let's go to the student section. We discussed a lot of things. Let's see. Listen, y'all are going at it with these Georgia fans. You should be a happy much Saturday. Lushawn says, we come out, hit hard every play, have discipline to get the SEC crown. Now, I know it's a lot of talk, and we're good on the keyboard, but listen, guys, we're not playing the game. It can sound good, but the players got to go out there and execute. So, listen, y'all can talk whatever y'all want to say. Let's see. It says Milton's going to run through Bama. I don't know. I feel like that takes away from what Georgia wants to do. I haven't known Georgia to be a big-time running team this year. Whenever I see them on TV, it's always Bowers, McConkey. But maybe they see something in film versus how Georgia Not Georgia, Auburn was able to run the ball, and maybe how UTC. That's why I said earlier, it's important that Alabama stops the run and be able to run the ball. Burton will take the game personal, take it out on UGA. I didn't even think about Burton. Burton's going to be locked in. Like I said, Caleb Downs, Bond, I believe Milrow. I think, listen, they're going to just, the whole team's going to be ready to come out with just like, I don't even know if they're going to take their helmets off, but not even after the game. They're still going to be so locked in. Like, it's going to be, these guys are going to be locked in. Coach Saban's going to have these guys locked in. So yeah. I'm gonna let y'all go back and forth. Let's see what we got. Steve RTR, Coach Dude, Sports TV. Thanks for joining us. So I know we talked about the NFL earlier. We were talking about the Eagles. Somebody said the Eagles lucked up. I didn't think the Eagles lucked up. I thought actually that the Bills, the Eagles just made the plays when they need to be happening. Kudos to Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, all those guys. They were making plays. They got a lot of Georgia players on there. Davis, all those guys. But yeah, I feel like the Eagles, they won that game. So I want to shift my gears to the NFL. And let's talk about because we know the NFL is Bama U. I want to talk about Carolina Panthers. I don't know if you heard it. Breaking news. Frank Wright, the head coach out of Carolina, is no longer. I think they got rid of McCown as well as Deuce Staley. The assistant head coach, David Tepper, had enough, heard some rumblings that after the game, they played the Tennessee Titans in Nashville, heard some rumblings that he left the locker room super angry, pissed, like a lot of four-letter words would drop, leaving the locker room. So you kind of knew Frank Wright's time was up. And I got to say, like, it was just, Miro, so he's a talented guy. He just has no offensive line help. I think they got a clean house. I think maybe they got to look at the GM as well. They need to get a football guy. You look at their position in the NFL draft. You look at, the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears currently might have the number one pick. I think it's between them, Carolina, and possibly at 3, the New England Patriots. You look at teams looking for quarterbacks. You got Caleb Williams. You got Jay Daniels. You got people are going to throw Bo Nix up there. He's not as high on my board, but he's talented nonetheless. A lot of NFL teams are going to take a lot of shots at him, but you got Marvin Harrison Jr., talented receiver out of Ohio State. So listen, I think the Carolina Panthers got a lot right now. They got an interim coach, Tabor, but it was just not a good fit for Bryce Young. I just feel like I even watched the game. Like, none of the plays made any sense. Like, they would have guys running the same area. Like, it's no really defining type of creativity plays from, and I played wide receiver. None of the routes made sense. Like, a lot of times they were just so predictable and they had guys in the same area. So, of course, it's easy for guys to defend the pass, pick sixes. I think Bryce leads in interceptions. I said it here before. Shouts out to CJ Stroud. We know he's doing his thing. D'Amico Ryans, former teammate of mine, Alabama. They're doing this thing, but the Texans have a lot more set up. More so than Alabama does. Not Texas. Texas have a lot more set up than Carolina Panthers does. So they got a better offensive line. They got a better young coach. They had a better system. They had better playmakers. They had a better running game. Like all those things go. They got a better general manager. All those got a, I said, head coach. All these things play into factors. And Bryce Young, he did beat the Texans that one game. That's their only win. They're 1-10, I believe. Last in the NFC South, I think the Atlanta Falcons. I know we got a lot of Falcons fans on here. They're 5 and something in their leading division. So the NFC South is not the strongest division. So I see why David Tepper went. But you look at Carolina playing the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. Will Levis is coming on strong. Like, he's got a better running back, better playmakers. Like, he got a better system around him. And I think David Tepper just had enough with the whole Frank Wright regime. So, on the other side of that, Derrick Henry had a big game. He had 2 touchdowns. So yeah, Frank Wright, it was just not a good regime. I just don't know who's gonna, want to get that job, because it seems like it's been a lot of turnover. We talked about Jalen Hurts having a big time victory versus the Buffalo Bills. Let's see who else we want to talk. Tua had a big win this past weekend. Black Friday going into New Jersey playing the Jets. The Jets do have a tough defense, but it was cool to see all the Bama guys after the game. Waddle, Tua, Mosley, Quentin Williams, all those guys after the game. Raekwon Davis, all those guys, kind of hanging out. So, I still think Jalen Hurts, Tua, they're going to get in the playoffs, but I still think they're kind of in that upper echelon when it comes to MVP voters. Mahomes, he's kind of, I don't know who you're going to get. A lot of people are saying CJ Stroud, but I think it's going to be a veteran guy. You look at a Hurts, you look at a Tua. I'm trying to think who else. Lamar's doing pretty good. The Ravens are rolling. It's a couple things. Let me know who y'all think is in the MVP, but I definitely think Tua and Jalen Hurts in the upper echelon of the MVP race. Josh Jacobs finally had a big game. The Detroit Lions laid an egg on Thanksgiving Day. I had them beating the Green Bay Packers, and they lost. They laid an egg. Green Bay came with it on Thanksgiving Day. So I want to get the NFL news. Now let's go to, let's go to the student section real quick. Mr. Stewart still going ham. He says, you'll need a miracle like the Auburn miracle. Laugh out loud. Even if Bama wins, they will not be in. Listen, we ain't got to worry about that. We're focused on the game Saturday. If we don't get in, that's the committee's fault. I don't think the committee knows what they're doing. Anyway, that's why I said earlier, I think the committee, the way they've done these rankings, I think they've set themselves up to eat their own words, kind of bite their own bullets, kick themselves in the gut, because it's supposed to be the 4 best teams, in my opinion, but I don't think the committee is ranking them like that. I think they're ranking some teams, the 4 most deserving, or ranking teams by eye test and having these different rankings, where I think they're going to have to eat crow and just ask when it comes to it. They're probably going to put the, SEC champ in, and then, if Oregon beats Washington, I think Oregon gets the edge over Washington. Florida State, Louisville, that's going to be interesting. I think the SEC champion gets in. If Louisville, I just don't know if Florida State's still going to get in undefeated. Even if they win the ACC, I think they're, with Jordan Travis going down, you never know what this committee, but I still think they might get jumped, especially if Alabama wins the SEC. Texas, I can see Alabama jumping Texas too. I think, like I said, it's going to either way. The committee is going to have to contradict themselves, so it's going to be interesting to see. Won't be surprised to see a little shift in the rankings tomorrow. I think some odds have increased for Alabama's chances to get in the playoff. So that maybe be a change, but like I said, Alabama can't worry about the playoff. Alabama's just got to focus on Saturday winning the SEC, being SEC champions. So, Jeff Stapleton says we're gonna rapid fire. He says Bryce is feeling hate right now, mainly because he doesn't have an offensive line to block for. Like, he doesn't have offensive line. He doesn't have competent plays. Like, it was 4th and 6. They only lost by a touchdown. It was 4th and 6, and they called a screen pass to the receiver. I'm like, really? You're not gonna take a shot down? So to me, I think Frank Wright, he's kind of outdated. I know they switched offensive coordinators. Like, I don't know. They have no running game. That's why I think the GM probably gets the buck. I think you got to do a whole. You need to try to get a former player. Hire me. Carolina Panthers. I'll get you right. Hire me to be your GM up there in Charlotte. I would get you right. So yeah. That's my thoughts regarding Bryce. So let's see. Alabama's just got to continue to stack wins. Stack wins. Let's get this to the section real quick before we wind it out. So committed was like they were last year when they let TCU with no conference championship get beat by a multiple loss team. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. Listen, this committee, I just don't know if they, like I said, I think they're just doing two. Instead of having one variable or the same formula to rank each team, strict the schedule, all these things, they're doing too many variables and saying, oh, we put this team here because of this and changing it up. That's why I think they're going to have to eat their words come after championship Saturday, especially on Sunday, in my opinion. So, yeah, right now we got to focus, control what we can control. We can control practice today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, continue to improve and get ready to play Georgia and, focus on winning. Hopefully we can win the SEC championship. But I like how we match up versus Georgia. I think we can do a lot of things offensively, defensively, special teams. I just like how we match up. I really do. So we just got to go out there and execute, have that mentality, have that humble mentality, have that MJ mentality, and just go out there and execute. So let's see. He says, how can Bama jump Texas when Texas already beat them? I just think it's going to be panic mode. I don't see how they're going to leave. If Bama beats Georgia, they will have the most impressive wins out of everybody in the top 6. They already got probably some of more than most top 20 wins. I think, like I said, that's why I said I believe the committee is going to be eating their own words, shooting themselves in the foot because they're going to have to make decisions to actually get it right. If not, they're going to get so much backlash, in my opinion. So hopefully that answers your question. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Like I said, we talk Heisman, we talk NCAA. It's Iron Bowl, post Iron Bowl recap. Listen, we just gotta go out there and focus, get ready each week, and enjoy football this week, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, family time, Thanksgiving. I know Monday going back to work is kind of hard trying to get back in the swing of things, but it's what we do here at Football University. Tell somebody to join, come back in. It's we invite all fan bases in. But this big Alabama plays, and listen, it's the SEC championship, so I'm glad Alabama's finally getting ready to play Georgia, and this could easily be the de facto national championship. So it's going to be a great game. If you're going to the game, RTR to all the Bama fans out there. And listen, it's going to be a great atmosphere. I'm quite sure game day is going to be there. I don't know any other conference championship that they would be at. I mean, you just look at Herb Street and Fowler's reaction, them calling the Florida State game, and just look how they were going viral watching the Iron Bowl, watching Alabama. So it just shows you that Alabama's still kings of college football, regardless. It is what it is. So I just hope Alabama goes out there and execute, and hopefully we can win the SEC. It'd be good to win another SEC championship. We got a lot of things to work on going against the top team in the country. Back-to-back national champions. They do a lot. They're just a really good, disciplined, talented team. So we're going to have to step our game up even more in the SEC championship if we want to win this game. So RTR to all the Bama fans. Listen, be safe. Enjoy the week. Listen, we're going to talk. This is your one-stop shop for all football. So we're going to discuss championship Saturday, NFL, getting close to playoffs, fantasy. We're going to discuss it here on Football University. Oh, a lot of coaching hires. I know we didn't get into it, but we'll discuss it next week for sure. So RTR, same channel next week, same channel, same time, same channel here at Football University with me, Matt Caddell. Peace.